All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the MLB Quick Hits video over here at SHIPITNation.com. We're covering the 14-game MLB slate tonight, so big boy slate. I am Hoop2410, Mike Petta. I'm subbing in here for my guy G Rising, still battling through the power outages in Michigan. So he's out. Hoop is in. We'll see what sort of winners we can find over here on this Quick Hits video. We'll have our show at 4:30 Eastern today, full breakdown, and then all our content will start coming out early this afternoon. Core reports, slate plans, cash cores, everything you need to be successful at MLB DFS. Got projections, tools as well to go along with all the written content. So make sure to get on over to SHIPITNation.com, $59 for the monthly package, $599 for the annual package. And as always, this episode of Quick Hits is brought to you by Drafters. Head on over to drafters.com, use that promo code SHIPIT to get $100 match on a $100 deposit. If you just go to the site and don't use this code, they'll only do up to $50. If you use the code SHIPIT, you get a $100 bonus. And our guy Titletown won the Drafters main contest last year for $250,000. Him and Big Marley are doing shows every week, doing drafts every week. So make sure to check those out as well. Looking like there could be some overlay in this contest. So get on over to Drafters and use that code SHIPIT to get 100% match on your first deposit of $100. All right, let's get into the slate here, see what we can find. Whoopsies. In terms of in terms of some plays here on the slate, and obviously it's a big slate, so a lot of options. So we're going to talk some pitchers first, see what we can find in the pitching streets. Before we do that, just hitting on some weather, couple spots. I think the Philadelphia game, some potential weather, nothing I think at this point to be worried about. Just have to monitor that a little closer. And then Baltimore as well. But again, I don't think these are going to be games that we need to avoid. If anything changes on that front, we'll have you covered in our Discord. But in terms of the pitchers today, a few options that kind of stand out to me. First up is going to be Kevin Gausman. If you're spending, I think Kevin Gausman is the way to go. And he is 10-8 on DraftKings, has a matchup against the Angels. Obviously, you got to work around Shohei Ohtani. Just phenomenal. What he did yesterday was absolutely phenomenal. Complete game shutout, and then goes and knocks out 2 home runs in the second half of that doubleheader. So work around him, but the rest of this lineup, man, there's just not much. There's just not much that you need to worry about outside of Ohtani. So as long as he's cautious with him, he's at home. I like his chances to have some success. 10-8 is the price tag. I think that's very fair for what we've seen out of him, just a safe-ish type option. So Kevin Gausman is going to be the spend today at the pitcher position. Considering a couple guys in this next tier, like 10K and below, is between Wheeler and Max Scherzer. I'm going to side with Wheeler as my second guy here, 9,800, and then gets the really good matchup here against Pittsburgh. The team total for Pittsburgh, super low, under 4. Wheeler has been very solid lately as well. If you just look at, the fantasy points, the production coming off a 26 fantasy point game, 20, 17, 15, the floor is pretty high on Wheeler, and the upside is certainly here in this matchup in this ballpark. So Wheeler is another guy that I'm looking at the pitcher position. And then if you want some savings, going down low, which is fine, especially if you're building multiple teams to take some chances at pitcher. A lot of times if you go low, under 7K, you just need someone to get to you 15, 16 fantasy points. And then you got to kind of avoid those top tier guys like going off for 30 or something. But the guy I'm looking at here today, he is 6,300. It's going to be Rodriguez for the Orioles. coming off a solid game last time out, 18 fantasy points against the Tampa Bay Rays. I mean, he's had some tough stretches in terms of matchups. You look at Tampa Bay, Los Angeles, Texas, Toronto, some of the better offenses in baseball. Now he's at home against the Yankees. I think he can get the job done here for us at 6,300. So just to recap those three pitchers that we're kind of looking at here early on this quick hits video: Kevin Gausman as a spend, and then Zach Wheeler as a little bit cheaper than that top tier option. And then if you want to go all the way down, Rodriguez here at 6,300 for the Orioles. So those are the three in terms of pitchers. Now let's kind of get over and talk about some stacks, favorite stacks for the night. And it is a 14-game slate. So there is a lot of options, obviously, on this slate. A lot of team totals over 5. You don't need to be worried about ownership. That is the nice part about these big boy slates. When you have full slates, over 10, I'd say over 10 games, ownership really isn't that big of a factor because everything's going to be spread out. Yes, some stuff will get more traction than others, but for the most part, you're looking at spread out ownership. So I would not worry all that much. We have a game in Coors, which I want to talk about first because it's two offenses that people don't like playing. Oakland and Colorado. Total in this one is sitting at like 10.5, 11. JP Sears going up against Kyle Freeland. And it's two offenses that people don't like playing. I mean, yes, in Coors, people will pay Colorado, but a lot of times they're playing the away team, not necessarily the Rockies. And then Oakland's like one of the least appealing teams to stack in baseball. I want to get overweight on this game. And I think a lot of people will say, you know what, I don't want much of it because it's just two nasty offenses. I do want, good exposure to this game, both sides, Oakland and Colorado. I'm assuming Colorado gets more ownership just because again, they're not as nasty to stack as Oakland and they have a higher team total. So I think Colorado gets more ownership, but Oakland, yeah, I'm looking at them. It's a lot of names you don't want to click, and that'll keep their ownership in check. Next spot I want to kind of travel to is Los Angeles Dodgers. They're at home against Brandon Williamson. And this is a spot, if you follow my MLB content, that I love attacking. Just love the Dodgers on full slates at home. A lot of times their rosters come out a little bit later. The ownership naturally comes down. So I think it's already a spot that people don't overlook. Don't get me wrong, but there's so many options on this slate. They can't be super popular. I've won a lot of money in these spots, numerous times in the past couple of years, just loading up on the Dodgers late at night at home in what I think is too low of ownership. This is one of those spots tonight. So I love the Dodgers. The good thing about the Dodgers, they have a lineup where you can just play absolutely everyone. They obviously made some trades. I'm assuming Kiki Hernandez will be in there, Rosario as well. So we'll see what sort of lineup they roll out, but Dodgers at home Friday night. I mean, it's been my spot for a couple of years now. It's made me a lot of money. I'll be going back to it again tonight. And then the last offense I kind of wanted to talk about here is going to be the New York Mets, another offense where should go a little overlooked. A lot of offenses will, 14 games, but going up against Mackenzie Gore, and Gore does have good strikeout stuff, but man, he still can get rocked. And the Mets have a lineup where, you can almost play everyone top to bottom for the most part. Pete Alonso coming in under 5K. I think it's a really good play over there. Lindor, Tommy Pham, like there's a lot of guys you can play in this lineup and feel pretty comfortable about playing. And again, with so many good offenses on the slate, team totals over 5, approaching 6, I think the Mets go a little bit overlooked here tonight. And then, in terms of some individual bats, I kind of mentioned it. Pete Alonso stands out for sure. If you want to spend like Mookie Betts, JD Martinez, some of those guys. And then on the Oakland Athletics, it's going to be some ugly names that we play in that offense, but the uglier the name, the lower the ownership. So in on some of these Oakland Athletic guys on the Rockies side, really like CJ Cron. He'd be my favorite guy over there. So just go give a quick recap of the plays. The pitcher we talked about, Kevin Gausman, Zach Wheeler, and then Grayson Rodriguez. The offenses, talked about that Rockies and Athletics game. Probably a little bit lower ownership on Coors than we typically see. Dodgers, late night hammer, love that play. And then the Mets as probably a pretty low-owned offense here tonight. So those are a few spots that I'll be looking at tonight. We'll have our full complement of content going up this afternoon. Earlier in the day, we'll have the slate plans, we'll have the core plays, and we'll have the cash cores as well. The show 4:30 Eastern. Make sure you tune into that. But that is going to do it for the quick hits here for Friday, July 28th, shipitnation.com. Get on over there, check it out. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with more of these videos. Good luck in your contest. Let's go ahead and ship it tonight.